Desmond James, you have any?
I'm going to speak. What's his name? Okay. Okay. Mr. James,
Yes, sir.
do you have a lawyer?
No, sir.
No. Has any lawyer ever visited you in court?
No, sir.
Would you like to have a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You wish to ask him questions?
I think he's answered the question. He wishes to have a lawyer. And therefore the commission now has some responsibility to ensure that he's provided with counsel. These persons, let's get this clear. I'm addressing the commission. I was asked.
You weren't asked for submissions, you were asked whether you wish to question the witness. Yes or no?
You know,
Here as well.
Chairman, when you tell me I cannot speak, I will not speak.
My silence is not to be interpreted as inexhaustible patience.
I agree with you, and I said I heard that as a warning.
Okay. We don't have a mandate to go looking for lawyers to represent him. What we do is try to facilitate. I'm personally pleased, as well as the commissioners, that you have offered the resources of the Bar Association. In the situation of Mr. James, what do you suggest? What will please you?
Sir, these persons died or were injured whilst in the custody of the state.
My
The
question
state.
is...
Yes, I
what
heard
will
your question.
please you?
I'll get to the answer, sir. The state has an obligation to every one of these persons. The state has resources. And I believe the state should be invited, and it should be a recommendation of this Commission of Inquiry, because I know commissions of inquiry have gone beyond their narrow remit to make recommendations, as they did in the Linden Commission of Inquiry. The state should be invited to provide counsel for every person who needs representation,
But isn't
or
that,
at least to provide the resources.
Mr. Ram, isn't that one of the remit of this inquiry? We now start.
We've been going for a few days now.
I take every single point you've made. I used to be at that side of the bar table at some stage. And I did pro bono work too, especially for murder trials. But from a practical point of view, what do you suggest the commission does at this stage with your application?
I suggest, sir, that you ask the Attorney General and or the Minister of Public Security to provide those witnesses who don't have legal representation, those interested parties who, and particularly the persons who died, the representatives of the person who died, or the persons who were injured, that they be provided with.
But do I have
legal
a
counsel.
remit to do that at this stage? At this stage?
At this stage, yes, the witness is before us.
And
And I think so, yes, indeed.
to ask the AG to do
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
You,
sir.
you saw my terms of reference?
Yes, I have, sir. But that's why I'm saying.
What part of it will entitle me to order the AG now to provide a
I don't believe that the terms of reference have to be read as strictly and as skeletally and as naked a document
I've
as you're
been saying
suggesting.
that all the time.
The point is this: we need to have a commission of inquiry that is free and impartial, and it's fair to everyone: council, state, prisoners, prison warders, 5 persons, police, everyone.
I can't
The state-
determine that at this stage, Mr.
Sorry?
Ram. I have to work with what I have.
Mr. Chairman, can I respond on behalf of the state?
Please do.
Would you please turn off your microphone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Sullivan Peters, representing the Guyana Police Force and Guyana Prison Service. Mr. Chairman, these would be my remarks in respect to Counsel for the Bar Association comments on providing legal counsel to all interested parties who are appearing before the Commission. What I would say, Mr. Chairman, is certainly Mr. Ram could have brought a written application, could have served the application, which is the issue that we had yesterday with the 29 disclosure matters. Certainly, Mr. Ram could have brought an application, properly served it on counsel for the police and the prison service, properly served it on the Attorney General, properly served it on the Minister of National Security, and they would have had representatives here to make submissions to you, and you could have made an informed decision based on what you heard from those interested parties. I agree with you that your remit is not to make orders of these kinds, but in commissions of inquiries, certainly in my jurisdiction, Canada, commissions of inquiry can make, in the normal course of an inquiry, one can submit a funding application. So so the deceased families, and I brought the actual rules here, and I'll pass it to Mr. Rams, and then you can see it. So basically, in our jurisdiction, the deceased families can make funding applications, inmates can make funding applications, any interested party can make funding applications, and the state responds, and some people are granted funding, so the deceased families would be granted funding for legal counsel. Inmates would be granted legal counsel, and they would all be paid for at the expense of the state. So all parties in the proceedings who cannot afford their own counsel, the state would not provide them counsel, but the state would fund their counsel at the legal aid rate. So in this particular case, see, you haven't, well, the rules, actually I shouldn't say you do not have rules, because I saw rules of procedure inside of the terms of reference that the president has here. But there's nothing that precluded Mr. Ram from bringing a properly constituted application and serving it on all parties, and having the parties respond. I agree with Mr. Ram. I don't disagree with Mr. Ram that in commissions of inquiry, it's not a matter for lawyers to appear pro bono. The state should fund lawyers. And all lawyers the state should fund that appears before commissions of inquiries. No counsel should appear here pro bono. They're professionals, and they should be paid for their legal services. But in so doing, a proper application should be brought, and I certainly would support Mr. Ram if he brings a proper application, because I agree with him that counsel should be provided for everyone that appears here, and the state should bear the cost of counsel.
Mr. Ram?
I am glad my colleague supports my application. I'm not aware that an oral application is improper, but if the commission so wishes.
Can waive the rule.
Sorry?
We can waive that rule.
Which is what
to
I'm doing.
facilitate
But
your
I was going to
application.
suggest, sir, because we do not, the Bar Association has no intention of any forms of delays.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, if the commission is of the opinion that it requires a written application, which I submit is not a necessity, but we are prepared to do it. If the commission so wishes, I will ask for an adjournment for 1.5 hours, and I will have a formal application presented to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, the reason for the formal application, and Mr. Ram must appreciate it, And it's the same issue. If Mr. Ram appreciates why a formal application is necessary, proper service is necessary, then the ordinary process of this proceeding can run effectively. Third parties or interested parties must be notified and be given the opportunity
That's right.
to respond.
This is why I keep saying we need to have proper rules. These are not rules, these are just guidance notes. But my proposal, sir, is that for an adjournment, for a formal application to be made for provision of costs and reimbursement for all witnesses who so desire to be provided with counsel.
Can I make such an order?
Yes,
I can.
yes, you can.
Just a minute.
Well, the commission can.
Let's just chat here. Who's Desmond? Okay.